So, you just started using LinkedIn Premium. Now what? Well, on your premium company page, you noticed around 7.5 times more page engagement and 5 times more page views. Well done. And now, new clients are messaging you. All because you're using LinkedIn Premium, which helps you get the business growth you want. Think big, small business. Think big. Start your free trial at linkedin.com/premium small business. That's linkedin.com/premium small business.
Your weekend is not complete without the First Lady of New York Radio. It's the Joan Hamburg Show. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
If it's Sunday and it's 2 o'clock, it's the Joan Hamburg Show. And we invite you to join us. The holidays are here, and we are all celebrating. And the Rockettes, fully dressed, they're coming in live to entertain us. A great group. And it's amazing stories every time I talk to various Rockettes, how they got from small towns, big towns all over America and landed the dream, the fantasy, since they were little girls, many of them out of dancing schools. So it's a lot of fun. And we've got television personalities, a lot of things to entertain you. And I do hope you join because there's so much going on. The city is full of events. The New York Philharmonic has the best holiday programs. They have holiday brass. They do Handel's Messiah, things that you absolutely love. And those two alone are enough. They have Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in concert, and they're all in the theater at David Geffen Hall. So you are absolutely going to enjoy that. And it's all stuff that we love. And we describe what's going on in this town. So you've got the Christmas Spectacular, which is always a treat for everyone. And you've got Broadway waiting for you, you name it. And the restaurants are all done up. Rockefeller Center never looked better. The tree is gorgeous this year. So every year, right? It's a very happy time in New York City. And come in. I'll tell you my favorite time, although the traffic has been hideous. If you can take the train so you don't worry about parking, and you go like at dusk to see just as the lights become alive, that's the perfect time to see the tree at Rockefeller Center. And you can eat right around there. And then, I don't know about the rest of you, but during the pandemic and before and after, I almost never went into a department store. So I treated myself. I went into Bloomingdale's and Saks. It was so much fun. It was like a new adventure. And there are sales everywhere. So if you haven't done your shopping like most normal people, take advantage. Look at the tree. Go to Saks right there and get yourself some great buys with a fabulous store. Bloomingdale's, too, full of goodies. I wanted almost everything. So this is the happy time of year that we all love, and I want you to take advantage and enjoy it. And whether it's the Philharmonic or whatever you can think of, it's all part of amazing things in the city. And then always join us at 2 o'clock every Sunday. We have great shows, things that are going to make you very happy and end up singing, dancing, do whatever you want to do. But we're going to get rolling, so hang in. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC.
The First Lady of New York Radio.
This is Joan Eats.
Now that the gorgeous tree is up, and everyone wants to come and see it. Really. I mean, let's see. Let's go to the tree. And then is there any place to eat near the tree that isn't going to really break the bank? So let me give you a couple of our thoughts. Maybe you haven't thought of these yet. Did you ever check out Bill's Bar and Burger? Right in Rockefeller Center, 16 West 51st Street. That's literally off Fifth Avenue. 212-705-8510. It's big, 400 seats. It's probably the biggest standalone burger joint in the country. Classic hamburgers, $9.75. They've got all kinds of things. A burger called the Fat Cat. And in fact, it got rated one of the top burgers a couple of years ago. And it's actually quite delicious. Caramelized onions, cheese, English muffin, lettuce, tomato, pickle. They have a happy hour. And for kids under 10, they have a children's menu. And that's burgers, hot dogs, tenders, grilled cheese with fries and a drink for $10. And they will take reservations over the phone, 212-705-8510. The American Girl Cafe is legendary, but it's a deal. And most little girls love to go to the American Girl with their American Girl dolls. It's only a few blocks to Rockefeller Plaza. They will take reservations. They have a price-fixed lunch. They have an afternoon tea, but it's a deal. Hard to get a reservation, AmericanGirl.com. Kids love Ellen's Stardust Diner, 1650 Broadway. It's a 50s-themed diner, singing servers, American classics. Take the kids, they love it. And they serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. The children's menu is $17. Cheeseburgers, fries, spaghetti, and butter. What's heaven for children? Hot dogs, mac and cheese. They don't take reservations, and my only objection is there's a wait to get in. But you know what? The parents are a little grumpy at waiting. The kids are happy as can be. So this is a really good choice, and the tree is worth seeing. So lots of great things happening in the city. Come join me, Joan Eats, happily at any of these places, and to see the glorious tree that is so much a part of America's Christmas holiday.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
It's our annual tradition. And as many years as I've been doing this radio show, that's how many years the Rockettes have been part of it every holiday season. And when you think that out of, 3,000 women have been Rockettes over the years, what it takes to become a Rockette and to survive the training, which is huge. Today we have with us Kathleen Latore. This is her 6th season as a Rockette. Jessica Moore, 10 years as a Rockette. And I'm just curious, Kathleen, what happened? Even though we talk about it every year, people still love these stories. Most Rockettes we've talked to have come out of dancing schools. Most of them, their mothers were the ones who were running the dancing schools. What was your story? You were a kid taking dancing and loved it.
Yes, so I started dance when I was 3 because I was a crazy, wiggly, energetic child, and my parents didn't realize that putting me in class introduced me to my passion and what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. But interesting enough, as I was growing up, I always admired the Rockettes so much, but I never saw myself being capable of doing it. So that kind of thought process I had until I went to college, and one of my college professors was a Rockette and swing for a long time.
Really?
And so
was it a music college or
I went to Pace University and did their dance program. And so my teacher, Lauren Gall, was a Rockette for a long time. And so she ended up seeing something in me and kind of pushed me to start learning precision dance. And until then, I didn't realize that I was capable of doing it. And I actually wasn't even going to go to the audition because I was out of state. And the last minute, I kind of made the decision to go. My sweet dad drove me through the night to get to Radio City. I didn't sleep. And then I walked into the hall and ended up getting the job that year.
You're kidding. Just like that. Okay. And what about you, Jessica Moore?
I grew up dancing in a small town in Nebraska, and I always watched the Rockettes perform on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade with my family, and I always knew that was something I wanted to do. I went to a professional performing arts school in Oklahoma City University, and a lot of dancers who went there had become previous Rockettes. I think I was something like the 45th Rockette to come out of Oklahoma City University. It's really just a dream come true for me.
But when you think that 3,000 have been Rockettes, right? What does it take because I'm sure thousands more little girls all over had the dreams you have, to be a Rockette. Once they see it, that's what they want to do. So what was it, do you think, about the two of you that made fate point in your direction?
I think it's just hard work and dedication. I mean, we have to be so precise in ballet, tap, and jazz, and just to keep going and never give up. I think that as Rockettes, we work so hard. We work together. I mean, we have to be strong enough to do up to 4 shows a day, 17 shows a week, over and over.
Hard. And also, people don't realize the rehearsal that goes into it. What, did I read 6 hours a day?
Yes.
And that doesn't include night stuff?
So we do, we rehearse for 6 hours a day, 6 days a week for about 6 weeks leading up to our show process. So it's a huge mental and physical challenge, but all of the women that dance with us are just so wonderful, and we keep each other motivated, and some of the most funny, wonderful people I get to dance with. I actually kick right next to Jessica this year, so we have a great time.
Yeah, and do you have time to do anything else, or when the season is here, that's it?
For me, I mainly, when the season is here, I'm in full Christmas mode for this whole period of time. But outside of the season, I am a dancer in lots of other ways. And I live full time in the city now, so I'm able to pursue that as well.
Right. So you can look at Broadway and look at anything. And is it the same for you, honey?
I really look forward to just all my friends and family who have made this their holiday tradition to come and see me. My whole family travels from Nebraska every year to come see me and the Christmas show, and it's sort of our holiday tradition.
And the rehearsals, I couldn't believe. Is it really 6 hours a day?
Yes, 6 hours a day. We have a lunch break in the middle there and little tiny breaks throughout, but it's a pretty rigorous schedule. We actually have a wonderful athletic training team that keep our bodies really in shape and doing well to sustain that long process.
Aye. And Jessica, tell me, once you're in, are you in?
We do re-audition every year just to make sure that we're all in tip-top shape. So as long as you can continue to do the job, you can continue to be a Rockette.
So there are Rockettes who are in their 20s, in their 30s.
We have all ranges. We have women who have, you have to be at least 18, and we've had women on the line for 5, 10, 15, even 20 years, and everywhere in between. Once you're a Rockette, there's a saying that says you're always a Rockette.
Right, but Kathleen was saying that this is like, during the season, this is what she's devoted to. So is this your story too, or once you get a break, you look at something else?
During the season, this is absolutely what we're devoted to. And in the off season, we continue to take dance classes. We do other events in the off season. We teach Rockettes conservatory classes, Rockettes 101, and we continue to train dancers in the off season as well.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize that there is a school that a lot of Rockettes come out of. Is that true? And does the school look for the girls, or the girls try to get into the school?
So we have a new program called the Rockettes Conservatory Program, and this is actually a free of charge training program that helps open the opportunity to dancers who normally wouldn't be able to afford to come to the city and train in this style because it is so specific. So it's a free of cost training. They learn Rockettes rep, our choreography that we do in the show, and they do a lot of physical training with our athletic trainers, which provides a great opportunity. This year, we actually have 17 new Rockettes that came out of our Rockettes Conservatory program.
And then do they replace 17 or not?
We always have women just naturally coming and going. Sometimes they book other jobs. They decide to retire and go on about their career, have a family, move out of the city.
And what do you guys want to do?
I personally love dancing with everything that I am, so I want to dance for as long as my joints allow.
Right. And with dancers, it's hard. People don't realize the strain on the body. You know, they hear a ballet dancer maybe, but they don't get that it is a rigorous opportunity, full of joy, but full of pain.
We do 9 numbers in the show, so
That's
it's
hard.
really a lot in the 90-minute show.
And when we're not on stage, we're running to our next change, so it's a nonstop 90-minute experience for us.
I bet, but what about the costume changes?
Yeah, so we actually have our quickest changes between Parade of the Wooden Soldiers in New York at Christmas, where we have 78 seconds to completely take off everything we have and put on a whole new costume, including earrings and gloves.
How do you do that?
We actually have, so there's backstage,
dresser?
There's a dresser per 3 Rockettes, and they help zip us up. We have coordination with our friends next to us, so it's like, you put on your dress first, I'll put on my shoes first, and we make it happen.
And during the rehearsal period, do you ever say, I can't do this, my body is screaming? Because that's a lot, and 6 hours is not the total, it's part.
It definitely is a lot of hard work, but I think it's really empowering to be surrounded by 36 other women on stage with you at the same time, and we sort of all get through it together and really hold each other up when we feel maybe not the greatest. And they really become your family and a sisterhood. These women, we spend so much time together. We spend all of our holiday seasons together, so it really becomes just a group effort and working together, a teamwork.
And are there a lot of backstage Johnnies waiting at the stage door?
We always love to meet people that come see our show, especially all of the young dancers and the little girls. We have a new dance in the show, a new reimagined dance called the Dance of the Frost Fairies, and they actually sell our fairy wings at the merchandise stands. So to see all the little girls wearing the fairy wings is really, really exciting.
And wanting to do it. So when you both got the job, that was only the beginning of this adventure, right? Were you in New York when this happened?
I had actually just finished dancing on a cruise ship, and I auditioned.
How'd you like that?
I loved it, and I moved to New York, and I've been here ever since, and I love performing in the Christmas Spectacular. I want to do it as long as I can.
Yeah, and probably long, right? Because as long as you're in shape, which means you don't really get time off. Right, you have to keep your body in shape and dance all the time.
Yeah, we definitely have to take care of our bodies because the season is so condensed this year. It's only a limited run, so it's 6 weeks
COVID.
only. So 6 weeks, limited run. It's truly a tradition.
And is New York home now, Kathleen?
Yes, so I moved here in 2014 when I started school at Pace University, and ever since then...
They have a good program, too.
They do, and that's how I was exposed to precision dance, our style that we do in the show, and so I'm super grateful that I was able to have that opportunity, and I've lived here ever since.
Right, so it feels like home?
It definitely feels like home, and honestly, New York is really the place to be for the Christmas season. It's the holiday season for so many people. I love being in New York City for the Christmas season.
And when I first started talking to Rockettes, that they were Rockettes and that was it. Now the company goes everywhere, right? Do you guys travel a lot with it or no time?
For the Christmas season, we are here in New York doing our show.
Till it's over.
Yes.
And then when the Christmas season is over, which is January something, then what's the next step? Do you give yourself a break or you're ready to go?
We definitely take a break and then we get right back to it. We stay into our trainings. We stay into our classes. We do every opportunity that comes our way. We have a lot of women, our mothers in the off season, personal trainers, Pilates instructors, teachers, dance teachers in the off season. We have a woman who's an accountant, all sorts of different avenues.
Right. And do people everyone who's chosen, do they get through the rehearsal period? That's a lot of work.
Yes, so the audition process being as rigorous as it is, they really can see, can this dancer sustain such a long period of time? So everyone that comes into our line is really, really wonderful.
So after you audition, how soon before you know if you've made the cut?
So usually we have 2 auditions, one in April and one in August. And so you usually hear if you got the job toward the end of the summer. So depending on when you audition, sometimes it feels like a long wait, but it's definitely worth it.
Right. And what about the Rockettes? Like, you guys live in New York, but what about the girls who don't? Where do they put all these people? New York is the toughest town in terms of living.
I think everyone finds sublets and stuff for this season. A lot of women do live in the season all year round, though.
Uh-huh. Well, we love our New York. It's a great town, right? Have you seen the audiences change over the years?
We have 6,000 seats in our theater, and you look up, we have 3 mezzanines, and just to look out from that stage and see the audience every day filled with so many people, that really motivates us and makes us so happy. So we're really excited to have everyone.
Right. And then all the little girls who just dream of this.
One of my favorite parts is seeing the joy on the audience's faces when we look out and they can see the magic, because even though it's maybe our 100th show, it's somebody's first time seeing the show, and just seeing all of the joy that it brings all of the audience members when they see the bus move, when they see the soldiers fall, when they see the Santas run through the aisle.
Oh, they love that.
It's really what keeps you going.
They love that. And I'm sure you guys too, because what a thrill. Every show is like a new show.
Exactly. There's so much to see. Every time you come to see this Christmas Spectacular, you see something new, especially now with the fairy drones and our new number, The Dance of the Frost Fairies. It's truly a fantastic visual to see these fairy drones dancing above the audience. We still have our classical numbers like the Living Nativity with the live animals. We have the Parade of the Wooden Soldiers.
I know.
All the fan favorites.
It's all there. It's all there. And I have gone to that show since I was 7 or 8 years old.
So special.
So you can imagine. And now I bring my family, and it is never tired. It's always new and always a thrill. And even the kids who can't dance like that, it's such a magical happening. Like, all things are possible. And we need that. That's part of New York City, and it's part of the spirit that we have to keep going here. So you guys do more than just entertain and dance. You sort of hold it together and assure everyone impossible things happen.
Exactly.
And you're going to keep on. I'm so happy that we had Kathleen Latourie, Jessica Moore, and both women live here now, but weren't here and are part of the Rockettes. So most Rockettes, after a certain amount of years, go off to something else, or they're happy just doing that?
I think for so many of us, this was a lifelong dream, and it's finally coming true. And I think that I'm so proud to say that I love what I do every day, and I just feel so much joy for being able to do this and do what I love and dance with everybody who also loves what they do, and just bring so many people joy in this holiday season.
It must be very reducing, too. Right? To work like that and dance like that? Do you have time to eat?
Yes, we definitely have our snacks and our meals in between shows to keep us going. We all have our favorite treats that we bring each other and spend time with each other in our dressing room in between shows, and we have a great time.
Well, because of you guys, we have a great time. Thank you so much for visiting. And you can all go see the Christmas Spectacular, the Rockettes at Radio City. It's a New York tradition. You're never too old. And the truth is, I used to watch people bring their babies and think, are they crazy? But the babies are like, your baby doesn't sleep, you take the baby. She'll be totally entertained by the Rockettes. It's part of New York magic. Thank you, Kathleen Latourie, Jessica Moore. We love having you here and wishing you many, many more joyous holiday seasons.
Thanks so much for having us. Make sure you get your tickets
Of course.
Rockettes.com or stop by the Radio City box office. We're running now until January 2nd.
Enjoy every bit of it. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC, celebrating one of our New York traditions, Radio City's Rockettes. More ahead.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome to the Joan Hamburg Show. And I'm going to introduce you today to Jessica Vosk, who is a very good, known actress who's going to do a wonderful concert at Carnegie Hall performing Get Happy, a Judy Garland centennial celebration, and that's on December 12th. And Garland, who I read would have been 100 this year, made her Carnegie Hall debut after nearly 4 decades in her career. And when you look into Carnegie Hall history, this is a major, major part of it. And Jessica's going to do something quite fabulous, in fact, very soon at Carnegie. But Jessica Vosk has an interesting path because she went to school, always could sing and do fabulous things, but did something that made a parent's heart beat fast. She decided that she was going to study finance and investments and lots of things that people like to hear, because if you're a parent, you get nervous when your kid says, I'm going to be an actor, an actress, I'm going to sing, I'm going to dance. You'd much rather hear them say, I'm going to watch people invest, tell them how to do it, I'm going to have a different career. And I'm sure Jessica, having watched their daughter grow up with a lot of talent, performing all the classics and everything great, that when you told them you were going to go into the financial business, they were very happy.
Oh, yes. I think like you said, any parent who hears that there's going to be a path that seems to be a successful one where you're going to be taken care of and getting that weekly paycheck and all those benefits is kind of like a big 2 thumbs up versus the unknown. So
Right.
You're absolutely right.
Right. And even though you had major roles, you were Alphaba and Wicked on Broadway, Joseph, and I've seen you in all of them, Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat,
Yeah.
Fiddler, Finding Neverland, The Bridges of Madison County, a really successful career, but it's still showbiz, which isn't as solid as finance.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you're always taking a risk. It's kind of, the things that I learned, subsequently. I always say if I never came to Broadway by way of finance, I wouldn't be where I am right now, because it is show business. So business is something that I understand quite well from being in the financial sector. And, you just you kind of get read the riot act in a lot of ways, because you have to be on the pulse of the market all the time. And
Right.
you sort of learn how to smartly and wisely save or invest or, take meetings with large clients. And I learned a ton about business that I still use in show business. But like you said, there are years where you're waiting to see what's next. And then there are years that are packed chock full of work, and you have to hold on to those moments and sort of use them to the best of your ability. But it is really hard.
No, I'm sure it's very hard. And even though you've had so much success, but it's a real chance. And you took it. I mean, you were doing very well in the money world. And
Yes.
I'm sure that, as you said, being in that world also proved helpful for the next jump. But it was very hard. Because my own kid is in this business, and I remember when he was going to do something solid like you were going to do in the money world. And I was so happy. Not that I don't love the entertainment world, but It's erratic and not as safe. So I get it. But there you were, very well in money, but you weren't happy. I mean,
yeah. It's one of those things where it started to manifest itself physically. And, as many times as you can hear doctors tell you those lovely 2 words, stress kills, you don't really believe it until you're faced with dealing with a stressful situation, or you find yourself like I was in a career that I just wasn't passionate about. And I think I could have stuck with it and stayed with it, but I think it would have been a world of problems for mental health and, for all of these things that we don't necessarily, look at first or talk about first. It would have been kind of detrimental. So, the leap of faith that I took, was also when I was almost 30 years old, which is kind of late in the game for Broadway. And, it was tricky. And, I hustled until I couldn't hustle anymore. I still do, because
you have to. It's the nature of the beast.
The nature of the biz. Yes, absolutely right. And so you have to sort of have that gritty, hustler mentality in an authentic way to kind of hang on in those times where it feels, kind of the what's next of it all. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but it was because you started as a kid and you really were doing all right. When you went into the money world, which you actually studied in school, you said, I killed the creative parts of me. I left it behind, the practice, the singing, everything was gone. And then you started getting panic attacks.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think sometimes and I can only speak from experience, when I decided to not sing anymore, I didn't see any shows. I wouldn't go to any concerts. I wouldn't open up my creative brain to see the things that people were doing because I wanted to do them myself. And I think it was a subconscious way of me kind of stuffing everything as far down as possible to not have to come to grips with the fact that I wasn't doing the thing that I loved the most. And I think that's why physically I started to have anxiety and I started to get panic attacks, and I had no idea what they were. And it was, at a time when I kept thriving in the corporate world and getting promoted and, new assignments and traveling. And it just, all of that still meant more anxiety. So that's kind of when the red flag went up, the SOS in my own brain, when I knew I had to do something about it.
So I'm just curious, the money business, which you were doing incredibly well, how long did you stay in that, or how long was it before you left and went into your passion?
I actually went into that job in a finance firm in Midtown Manhattan. I started that job before I even graduated college. So I remember having to take off work on a Friday to go walk in my graduation ceremony out in New Jersey, to go do that and then head back to the office. Oh. And I was at that job for about 3 years. And then we had that great market crash of 2008. Right. The real estate market took a tumble and all the big banks closed. And I took that as my opportunity to cleverly get laid off. So I could collect some unemployment and try and
do what you loved.
Do what I loved. And the firm was very kind to me. And I subsequently still did some, off-site work for them, because I'm a big believer in not burning any bridges. And,
right.
Still to this day, I've kept in touch with those colleagues, and they were a huge part of why I think I felt safe enough to leave and do what it is that I love. But with a lot of trepidation and a lot of, crossing of fingers and saying, oh God, I hope I didn't make the wrong decision.
Right. And working so hard to get hooked up because you weren't doing that. And it took a couple of years or more after the money world, right? To make a Broadway debut, but you actually did in the Bridges of Madison County. And that had to be even harder than getting a money job, a financial job.
Oh, it is probably the hardest thing. I always say, people say to me now, what's the thing that you wish that, people knew about your story the most? And I always say, I wish that they could have seen every morning at 6 a.m., waking up, not having an agent, going down to the equity building,
and
going to an audition, hoping that you'll get seen. 9 times out of 10, you don't get seen. And then there's that one time, where somebody happens to remember you, or they give you a phone call, and it's, it's luck. It's showing up, but it is also luck, and everything has to line up properly. And it was, I couldn't believe that it happened. Once that one door opens, it's your job to run through it to the best of your ability. And, and that's what I did.
But you didn't give up either, which is, I've even have friends, families who are actors, and I've heard them at different stages say, well, I'm going to give this blank years and then I'm going. I'm not going to do it anymore, or, hang out and not get picked. So you chose a lot of complicated things, but you kept on going.
Yeah, I sure did. I kind of thought to myself, if I knew what it was like to sit in a completely different career and be able to do something, even though it wasn't my passion and I did it well, I should at least give myself the opportunity to fall flat on my face and not give up for as long as possible, to see if I can do the thing that I've always wanted to do. I'm a big risk taker. I'm a big, take a chance on yourself, and it might not work out the way that you thought it would, but you will never regret taking a chance on yourself.
And you didn't. And on December 12th, Jessica Voska is going to come to Carnegie Hall. She had actually been there in the past and performed Get Happy, a Judy Garland centennial celebration. So tell me where Judy Garland came from in your head.
Well, I like you said, I made my Carnegie Hall solo debut last year, and it was kind of beyond my wildest dreams, and we sold out Stern Hall, and it was this phenomenal moment. And then I was very lucky to be approached by a group called Fifth Season, who work with a group called Black Ink Productions, and they're very, very well-known team for bringing video clips to life with live orchestra. And they had not worked with a live performer before in this capacity. And they said, Judy Garland's centennial year is coming up, and we would love to put a production together of, from Judy's estate, these video clips of the Judy Garland show, but to have you honor and pay tribute to Judy by singing her songbook.
So they picked you out.
Yeah. It was a really fantastic call to get, to be honest with you, because, when you grow up, most people know Judy Garland from The Wizard of Oz, and most people have this view of Judy in that, ruby red slippers, that's how she has been remembered. But she led a really amazing, colorful, complex life, and we lost her far too soon. And her Carnegie Hall live show happened at age 39. I turned 39 this year, so it's these happenstances, I always think there's a reason for them. So it's kind of an amazing thing to be able to grace the stage and pay tribute to this woman whose work, I think, remains just as alive now as it did when she was still with us.
Right. And then very few people lit the path for Garland. She did it herself, and that is a lonely experience. I think especially for women in this great business of show, there have been a lot of strides made, due in part to people like Judy Garland. She's one of these women who had her own show in a time where women like her didn't have their own show, and people didn't take chances or risks, and she did, and she was this enigma, to people watching her on screen and having, other guests of hers come on, or Frank Sinatra or Dean Martin or Tony Bennett, as these little walk-on parts, but she was the boss. And it was a really beautiful thing to see. I've learned so much in watching her life unfold. I mean, she started at the age of 3, which to me is just unheard of.
It's unheard of. And what she went through in this business, probably a lot of her experience was gone through alone. And I'm sure it was very lonely. And to pay tribute to a woman like her who is responsible for why it is that I'm able to walk through the doors I am walking through right now, and to be able to, to try and take my career by the reins, like a boss lady, like she was, is
Right.
something that I don't take for granted. And I know, I've now seen through her body of work and rehearsing this piece, the things that she must have gone through to
Right,
get to where
because
she got.
Judy Garland had a lot of dark sides, but
Yes.
it still didn't stop her. And you found something, in spite of the demons, that kept her
Yeah.
going.
Yeah. And I think, a lot of times I think it's hard to express how difficult someone's life could be without trying to seem, like you're poo-pooing the life of someone. But in reality, I think the dark moments are also just as important as the brightest moments. And I think, I know that I have been through a lot in my life to get me to where I am today. And I think a lot of people relate to Judy Garland because of those dark moments. And it's watching someone be able to do the things that she did, even though, I wish that she were still with us to this day, because she had so much more to sing and say. But I think she remains this light and this iconic being for people because she led a life that was not cookie cutter. And I think most of us don't lead cookie cutter lives. And it's nice to be able to relate to that somehow.
Right, and a lot of people go through dark sides and
Yes.
can survive them to go on
Yes.
to the next. And her children have that spirit. Liza, forges ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think there's it's nice to know that you're not alone, despite going through some really, really tough moments, that there is life on the other side if you can hold on.
Right. You have to be able to hold on, and you'll be able to see this Carnegie Hall Get Happy, a Judy Garland Centennial Celebration. It's with Jessica Vosk, of course, on Monday, December 12th. So are you all ready to go, or you're still in the heavy-duty rehearsal period?
Oh, we are in heavy duty. Yeah, I in fact, after this call, I go into rehearsal for most of the night. And, but the great thing is that we're really tailoring this show to the fact that it is Carnegie Hall, and it is this hallowed ground where Judy
was,
where she was, and where she really made people kind of light up and feel like they were in her living room. And I think that is something to be savored. And I think it was a triumph for her. And I want to be able to pay tribute to her in a really beautiful way where it's like coming home to Carnegie Hall. So
right.
I'm so excited.
Well, we're excited for you. And when you think that Judy Garland, because as you pointed out, she was 3 when she started. So by the time she got to Carnegie Hall, she had been working for almost 40 years. Hard to believe.
Incredible. It's an incredible testament to somebody's tenacity in a business that can chew you up and spit you out at any moment. It's really incredible. What a fierce woman.
Well, and Jessica is right at home up there on the Carnegie stage. And Jessica Vosk, who has traveled all over with her show and her solo show, this is definitely something that you're going to want to see. And what's better than Carnegie Hall? It always makes me feel, I know so many things have changed in this city. And especially in the entertainment world. When I was coming of age, you would go to all these different clubs and even the hotels had things. There was music everywhere and acts. And then we went through a lot of changes. So when we can have events like this, it's something very special. And it's a celebration of one of the greats And she deserves that celebration. So good for you.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, honey, for joining us. And I look forward to talking to you again, Jessica Voss. Make sure Monday, December 12th at 8 o'clock, you want to get your tickets. Carnegie Hall, Get Happy. And it's the Judy Garland Centennial Celebration. Take care of yourself. We'll talk again.
So much.
Bye-bye. I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC.
The First Lady of New York Radio.
This is Ask Joan.
Is there a perfect gift? I can't even answer that, and I get that question all the time, but I will tell you something that I give a lot. I give a gift of a museum membership. It's a great gift. Everyone benefits from it. First of all, there isn't a museum that couldn't use financial help. And these institutions have such great benefits. And by the way, the giver of the membership gets a tax deduction. So a lot of perks. Almost every museum has it. The Met, it includes all the locations. And it's $110 per year for most of them, but you get free admission. It's wonderful. The Whitney, everyone loves to get the Whitney on Gansevoort Street in the city. Go to whitney.org. You get unlimited express and free admission throughout the year. You get 50% off general admission tickets for your guests. It's a great deal. They have a wonderful shop, discounts up to 20%, good restaurants, 10% off. An individual membership is $90 tax deductible. A dual membership is $140. I love it. We like the Museum of Modern Art on West 53rd Street. MoMA, a terrific membership to get. And that $110 will give you free admission, $5 guest tickets, viewing opportunities, previews, everything. And they have a great film program and you get free entry. So there isn't a museum that doesn't have a wonderful membership. Look it up, look it out, do it. It's a gift that keeps giving. Anyway, enjoy, guys. I'm looking at the clock. We're coming up to the 3 o'clock. So there's lots more ahead right here on radio station WABC. And I am Joan Hamburg.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. With Indeed sponsored jobs, your post jumps to the top of the page for your relevant candidates, so you can reach the people you want faster. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs posted directly on Indeed have 45% more applications than non-sponsored jobs. Don't wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/ARTS. Just go to Indeed.com/ARTS right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need.